What's up guys, my name's Gherkin and this is going to be the ultimate melee class build for Krieg the Psycho on Borderlands 2. This is going to allow you to become pretty much invincible. I'm starting this off with a brief clip of this class in action to demonstrate why I love the setup so much. This is gameplay from the Bloodshot Stronghold, which is a notoriously tough area, especially on solo play, where you'll be drawing all of the attention. A lot of tough enemies, powerful weapons, but you're going to notice how little damage they're managing to do to my health bar. If I was playing with any other setup or with a different character, I'd either be dead or in a lot of trouble right now. But with just 350,000 health, which isn't actually a lot for a level 61, and especially not what you would expect from a melee-based character, you'd probably expect a lot more. I'm able to fight my way through this area with relative ease. And so this build is going to be perfect for all of you who, like myself, bought the Psycho character with the expectation of kind of going these mad melee slasher sprees like this, and actually found instead that you were going down a lot, that you were dying a lot, that you were attacking yourself a lot. And in general, we're quite disappointed with it all, like I was at first. But this build was a complete game changer for me, in a really literal sense. I did a complete 180 after implementing this class, from dying very frequently to barely ever dying at all. Or at least as little as I would with my main character. And it's been a hell of a lot of fun playing like this. And the idea for this class came from a great forum post that I stumbled across, and I've linked in the description. That goes into a lot of detail and a lot of the maths behind it. But be sure to check that out if you really want the kind of really in-depth look at it. But for now, what I'm going to do is cover the basics of how this class works. I'm going to make some of my own recommendations, and the great thing about this class is you do not need 4 legendary items to make it work. I know a lot of really good class setups, they look really great, and then they say, oh, you need this, this, and this, and you don't have any of those specific items. You only need a couple of general items, and then there's a few items that will make it even better. But for now, we're going to take a look at the skill tree, and I'm going to go over the basics of how this class works. So this is what your class will look like at level 61. If you're still leveling, that's not a problem. You can still start to put this together and kind of improve it as you reach higher level. And this setup relies on 2 main things: long, constant rampages and massive damage reduction. And you can achieve this with 3 main skills. For damage reduction, we want as many points as possible in Taste of Blood, and for rampage duration, we want points in Blood Trance. Now, as I said before, there's no specific equipment that you need, but a class mod that buffs both of these skills is pretty vital to make this setup really great, and that's the most specific thing that you're going to need. That said, after reading about the setup, I found a class mod that did exactly this in the first vending machine I checked, so they're not rare, and if you keep an eye out, you should find one pretty quickly. The third skill is Release the Beast at the bottom of the Mania tree. And this is what these 3 skills are going to allow you to do. In the Bloodlust tree, all damage you do to enemies, that can be elemental, bullet damage, even melee damage, anything, is going to increase your stacks to a maximum of 100. And these stacks are going to influence each of the skills in the tree. With 11 points in Taste of Blood, I can now build 48 stacks per Rampage kill. So after getting to Rampage, I'll essentially be at maximum stacks after 2 kills. And that's if I didn't have any stacks beforehand. At this point, I'll be receiving an 80% reduction in damage. 80%, that's insane, and that's what you're going to be getting your main damage reduction from. Release the Beast is going to allow you to build stacks with whatever weapon you want to choose as high as you can before your health reaches 33%. Once that happens, you can go into Rampage and recover all of your health instantly. More importantly, it's going to mean your Rampage is ready to use again as soon as the last one finishes. This is what allows you to keep yourself in Rampage almost constantly. Lastly, with all those stacks you'll be building up with your easy rampaging and stat building from Taste of Blood, your next Rampage with the help of Blood Trance can now last a full minute. It doesn't even have to be your next Rampage. If you build up 100 stacks before your first Rampage, then you're going to have a full minute now. This is with 10 points in. You get extra half a second per 1 stack. So with 100 stacks, that's another 50 seconds. And considering the standard Rampage is a baseline of, what, 10, 15 seconds? That's mad. You've now got a full minute of Rampage at 80% damage reduction. And remember, each time you take a kill, you're going to be recovering all of your health. And that essentially is the backbone of this setup. Those 3 skills buffed by class mod working in tandem. However, there's still room for significant improvement. To prepare for those occasions when you do go down, and it is going to happen, you know, you have 4 badasses shooting you in the face, you get cornered, hit by a grenade, and a barrel explodes on you all at once. You can also significantly improve your second wind chances with these skills. Redeem the Soul is going to give you an extra 50% time and fight for your life. Light the Fuse, you can now move around and throw dynamite instead of shooting from the floor. And Strip the Flesh, with 5 points, you're going to be doing an extra 30% extra explosive damage in Fight for Your Life, and that's going to count on those dynamite sticks. At level 61, you can now do 500,000 damage per stick and 4 million with your final explosion. 95% of the time, this is going to get you your second wind. And here's the beautiful thing: when you do get your second wind, if you're using Release the Beast and you used it to go into that rampage that you got downed on, you're going to be ready to trigger another one straight away, because you're going to be below 33% health and it's going to recharge instantly. Absolutely flawless. If you're still leveling, I'd recommend filling up the Mania tree first, just to get to Release the Beast. It's probably one of the most useful skills. You can also buff your health with Feed the Meat, buff your melee damage with Empty the Rage. Personally, I would not recommend Silence the Voices. This is a controversial one. You may choose to try this setup when you've got everything filled up. It will give you massive increases in melee damage, like 400%, but the self-attack for me was just screwing me over a lot more often than the melee damage was helping me. So I've personally left that empty for now. Here's the thing, like, you can choose to do that and get the extra melee damage, but you're going to be, if you're pulling this off well, you're going to be in Rampage for so long and have such damage resistance that you don't need that extra melee damage. You don't need to be taking kills that quickly, because you're going to have so long in Rampage and you're going to be getting all your health back so often. I just didn't feel I needed to run out and kill enemies that quickly. You can just take it so much easier and you don't have that self-attack. And I've heard of people attacking themselves 11 times in a row. For me, it was just putting me on the floor so much more often. But you may want to try it. It's up to you, personal preference. When you have enough points, I highly recommend investing in Blood Explosion. For every enemy you kill while in Rampage, that's with your melee attack, you'll cause an extremely powerful explosive Nova Blast. It matches whatever element you kill them with, so this is good outside of Rampage as well if you want to slag a lot of enemies. But it doesn't damage you, but it will deal massive damage to surrounding enemies. This is great for large groups, especially if coupled with the Singularity Grenade to bring everyone in together. And definitely useful against packs of Varkids or Skags. The Novas can chain together as well, it's hilarious. 1 kills 2, 2 kills 3, and sometimes if you're lucky you'll take out a whole room of people with only 1 kill. So I'd highly recommend investing in that when you can. Otherwise, to help buff this setup even more, I'm using the Rough Rider Shield. This is obtained from Hamlock's DLC. This is going to give me another 20% damage resistance on top of my 80% while rampaging. Unfortunately, the maths in this game doesn't work out, so you get 100% damage resistance. You won't actually be resisting all damage, but you'll be resisting huge amount. And it's unique in that it has 0 shield capacity. Many of Krieg's abilities are buffed by having 0 shield. You'll get extra melee damage and fire rate and rampage recharge. If you didn't use Release the Beast and you want to recharge that quickly, you can put points into Fuel the Rampage, and that will recharge your Rampage a lot quicker, especially with damage to your health. So having 0 shield capacity is going to help that greatly. But that extra damage resistance is generally what I'm after with that. And if you don't have this DLC or you can't get the shield, if you do have the DLC, it's a pretty common drop. Drops. It's only blue rarity, and it drops. I think I farmed 3 and only had to kill the enemy. It's the Bulwark, by the way. I had to kill the enemy 5 times to get 3 shields. It dropped to level 61 the first 2 times, and the 61 one the third time. But if you don't have this DLC or you can't get the shield, it doesn't matter. Consider using a Roid shield instead. Get that extra melee damage when your shields are down. Preferably something with a large recharge delay to keep your shield off. It seems strange, but you do get used to it, trust me. And the kind of additional benefits of shield are often better in lieu of a bad recharge rate or bad recharge delay, so you can take advantage of that fact. You don't need those recharge stats anymore, you can just go for the raw kind of power ones. A shield from the main game you could consider would be the Love Thumper. This is from one of the missions, I think it's called Stalker of Stalkers, I might be wrong on that, don't quote me. But it's a mission you do out near Overlook, I think. But anyway, it has a 3-minute recharge delay and it does a huge amount of roid damage. So that's another one you can go after. But personally, I'm on this one just because of the damage reduction. As for my relic, I'm using a relic which gives me even more damage resistance. And these ancient relics are really useful for this kind of thing, and they're very easily obtained. It looks like pink rarity, and they're never going to drop. If you know about the loot midgets that are in the wildlife exploitation preserve, there's always 3 that jump out some boxes. You can look up videos on that. A lot of people use them. They very often drop legendary weapons, and they almost always drop an ancient's relic. And I only had to kill them, I think, 2 or 3 times, and they drop this one, and that's another 20% non-elemental resistance. I also get 27% shock resistance. You can get ones which resist almost every element and have non-elemental resist. So now, when rampaging, I can be rocking at 120% damage resistance, which is just insane, especially considering you get all your health back anyway every time you take a kill. And that's the beauty of the setup. The backbone is in the skill tree, not the equipment. As long as you have those skills properly buffed, you're going to be in a very good standing point, and you can just look out for the equipment as you go along. Well, guys, I hope this has been helpful. The class took me a very short time to put together. I've tried to put other classes together that people have suggested, but I have to go after 3 legendary items, and if you can't get one, it all falls apart. This one's been so great in the fact that it's just been easy to put together. And once I realised what to do, it just all fell together. And I hope it will do the same for you if you're looking for this kind of crazy melee class. I'm going to leave this with a bit more gameplay of this class in action, and I hope you give it a go. I will see you next time.
Open your veins! Kill that one! No! You're nothing! Hemophilia! Never stop the killing! Never! Ah! There is nothing but agony!